When the original line of Ultimate Marvel Comics was released in the early 2000s, it was received well to the reimagining of the iconic characters for a then modernized interpretation of them to new and old readers. While the initial sales and receptions of the Ultimate Comics were beneficial, the comics later detracted much from the Ultimate premise and now has a somewhat complicated legacy. But the speculator so now is this: the success and failure of the original Ultimate Marvel Comics universe. Sales of American comic books declined, starting in the mid to late 1970s, as the comics of DC and Marvel weren't bringing in attention or revenue from readers as in prior decades. The 1980s culminated with the original Crisis on Infinite Earths from DC, which re-established all of the comics into the 1990s and 2000s. While Marvel was extremely hesitant to do a similar style event to reset the overall timeline of events and details for characters, they did semi-reboots to little success, and DC saw temporary increases with sales and attention to their comics. With Marvel Comics still in decline, editorial management knew something had to be done to save the company's reputation on intellectual-based properties. From information now known, Marvel Comics knew that a new brand was needed, but didn't know exactly what to do. Marvel knew that comics needed to be simplified for casual readers. Ultimate Spider-Man was the first line, due to Spider-Man being one of the original comics of Marvel, and it was later assumed that Spider-Man would be an automatic revenue for the Ultimate Marvel line, as it naturally proved to be a success, as the comic was later considered to be the best of the Ultimate series. Ultimate X-Men was another comic soon after Spider-Man, but the reputation to the Ultimate X-Men were mixed. Ultimate Fantastic Four was also a comic line that varied depending on the writer or story in consideration. This line became the source of Marvel Zombies on the makeup. The Ultimates, which were the then modernized interpretation for the Avengers, were known for its portrayal of Nick Fury, which was in part from the actor Samuel L. Jackson. And the take on Fury was so well received it later became the 616 Marvel Universe standard, as well as the Marvel Cinematic Universe interpretation of the character. Ultimate Iron Man was later launched, but was quickly considered to be the weakest line, and it was so dire that it was later regarded as fictional within the Ultimate Comics universe. This was later interpreted as one of the final mistakes of the Ultimate universe, and a standard of the decreased quality that the Ultimate line later represented. Eventually, the Ultimatum was written to basically kill off various Ultimate-based characters, and was later considered to be one of the worst Marvel Comics story arcs ever written. The Ultimate Marvel line was expected to be a long-term solution to Marvel Comics' dwindling sales and lack of appeal for casual readers, as the initial interest on sales for the comics were decent, but eventually interest on all related sales with Ultimate Comics began to decline. This rebooted Ultimate line had initial interest once more, but the opinions of the time on since had that most of the allure with the Ultimate Comics were gone, and the reboot of the time was considered to be an executive decision by Marvel to help save the Ultimate brand. The Secret Wars was considered to be the official end to the original Ultimate line. Due to it not being able to be salvaged, certain characters from the Ultimate universe were transferred through events to the 616 universe due to popularity. When Secret Wars concluded, it was assumed that the characters brought over from the Ultimate universe to the 616 universe would have been reacted well during the transition, and would be reacted to positively by casual or serious readers of Marvel Comics at the time. This did not occur. While the characters were received somewhat well in the 616 universe, sentiment of the overall premise with the Ultimate line persisted, with those who had supported what the Ultimate Comics did for Marvel, and those who refused to accept what the Ultimate Comics did for Marvel's overall presence in American comics. Writers formerly affiliated with the Ultimate universe were somewhat unsatisfied with the Ultimatum, as this culminated with the second reboot of the Ultimate line with Marvel Comics.